Comics and Crypto, welcome. Thank you for joining.
VeVe Magic, hey!
How's it going?
Amazing, amazing. We're actually driving through the Santa Cruz area right now.
Nice.
It was an amazing day. It was a really cool day.
Awesome. Yeah, you sent me a couple of videos. I haven't had a chance to look at them, but I definitely want to check them out.
Yeah, it was a train that goes to the Redwoods. It was unbelievable.
Oh,
Really,
wow.
really magical. Really magical.
Awesome.
Congratulations on your video. It was so good.
Thank you.
It was so great. Yeah, I watched it. I think third time now.
Oh, shut up. Really?
Oh yeah. Seriously, hardcore nerded out over it. It was really fun to hear you two talk about collectibles and the future of the space. It was really fun. Really, really fun.
Yeah. We got done and I was like pressed to stop recording and I went, that was amazing. It's like I was just like, what just happened right now?
I couldn't believe he still had the tickets from when he went to Disneyland for the first time in '81. That was unreal.
89, I think.
Or 89, yeah, 89. Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah, and then he even talks about the mint number on the ticket and stuff.
Oh
my gosh. I love it.
That was so good.
Yeah, well, I was shocked that they weren't in plastic, that he didn't have that somehow protected. And it looks, it shows that he hasn't touched it very much because it was in pristine condition.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm wondering if he took it out, but yeah, he definitely kept that. He keeps everything in great shape. That was impressive. Really impressive.
Yeah. What did you think about him and Dan showing off their AF-15 and and their AMA?
I mean, I think it's easy to presume what's coming. It's interesting because I know Alex confirmed that it's not going to be dropped at Comic-Con, but what's coming right after Comic-Con? Spider-Man Day on August 1st, and it's also the 60th anniversary of AF-15 dropping and since 1962. So it just feels like this is the right time to do it, and it's perfect timing because they're allowing KYC for everyone. Perfect. Then Comic-Con, market the heck out of VeVe at Comic-Con, and then sure enough, a week later you drop AF-15. It just feels it's perfect timing and well.
So you think that's the publishing date then, right?
Yeah.
Spider-Man Day?
Yeah, it dropped in August.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that does make sense. And the fact that they brought it out, it seemed like a pretty clear teaser to me.
So intentional. It wasn't even just a hit in the background. They actually emphasized that they both own this comic, which is really, really cool. Super cool to see Dan on one too. I'm sure David had a little bit of help with that one.
Yeah, he's influencing his collecting skills.
Yeah.
He was basically saying in the video with me too. He's like, he'll turn him into a collecting monster if it's the last thing he does.
Well, he's off to a great start.
Yeah. So, did you go for the drop today?
I did. I actually got a Jungle Cruise.
Nice.
Yeah. I was really stoked. I didn't think I had a chance to get it. I thought that was it was amazing to see how scarce they were. I was kind of hoping for that though, and it worked out really well, in that sense.
Yeah.
But there's just, how do you feel? How did you feel about the drop? Did you go for the drop? Did you be able to get it?
I did, but and I hit so spot on, but my Wi-Fi it was reserving, and my Wi-Fi was just slow today, so I didn't get it.
Gotcha.
I even saw the rebound twice, and I couldn't get it. I'm like, oh, it's that's the worst. And then I was all stressed out. I literally had to leave. I'm in the Starbucks parking lot trying to drive to work and looking at the market because I'm I have to finish this. I have to get this set.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, I was shocked at the prices, utterly shocked.
Yeah.
To have comics, I'm sorry, to have posters. There's only 1955 of them, each one. They're all secret rares. They're all Disney, and some were going for basically retail. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
That's wild to me. It's so wild.
Yeah, a few of them definitely were hitting around 50 gems and a little bit. I think I may have seen one dip under, which blew my mind. I didn't think that was going to happen, but yeah, it's interesting because they're all secret rares. And I remember, I think I saw a couple of tweets of people talking about that, and they're kind of like, why are they all secret rares? It's because of the scarcity. That's why, because there's less than 2,000 of them, and I think they have a pretty firm definition on what they view as a secret rare. And I think from what I've seen, it's around 2,500 editions or less. That's basically what I've seen. That no, don't hold me to that
Yeah, don't
number,
quote you on
but
it.
yeah, but it's definitely around there. And so, what do you think about the posters themselves? Do you feel like they should have dropped the Peter Pan? Do you think what are your thoughts on that? Do you think we'll see Peter Pan?
Yeah, so when I first commented, I said, like, when they first made the announcements, when we didn't know what they were and we were speculating, I was like, well, I know exactly which one is gonna be like the go-to and will be worth the most, and that
Yeah,
would have been Peter Pan.
yeah, yeah,
And so when it didn't come, I'm like, okay, well, now it's like anybody's guess. Like, I think if we had gotten Peter Pan, that probably would have been going for, like, I mean, based on the other prices and everything, I feel like that would have started out between somewhere like 1 and 150.
right,
um
totally.
and would have, even been more from there, because that is like revered as like the most nostalgic ride at Disneyland. Like, when
Yeah,
there's rope drop and you get to pick whatever land you want to go to, like, basically the only time you're going to have a short wait is if you jet to that ride right when they open. But otherwise, it's basically like a 45-minute wait all day long. Like, it never goes down. And other rides do, like Pirates sometimes is like 10-15 minutes, like even Thunder Mountain will be like 30 minutes, but that ride always has a wait, always.
it's
And
incredible.
it's for such an old ride. Like,
Yeah,
they obviously do a good job of revamping it and stuff, but it's still like, to like be on that ride and realize how old it is, and yet, like, just what you're experiencing is incredible. Like,
yeah,
you're attached to the ceiling of this ride. Like, that's crazy.
almost 70 years old. 70 years
I
old, and
know.
that ride still holds up in the biggest way. It's probably as
Exactly.
popular now as it ever has been, which is
Oh
just
yeah, for sure.
it's incredible. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Do you think they're going to drop
So,
more comics during that era, like the 55 to 59 era?
your posters, right?
Sorry, posters. That's the
Yeah.
comics.
See, we did the same thing. I did it too. That's funny. I'm like, I want to make sure that's what you mean.
Yeah.
I don't know, because there are quite a few that they could do, right? So I don't know. They may just go into kind of like the next series of, you know, 60 to 65 or whatever, because there's a lot still, like, or to 67, like Pirates and Tiki Room, and like there's just all these other things that have potential. I was I was surprised at the drop and what they chose.
Me too.
But of course I know that everything is super intentional, and like part of me didn't love it and part of me understands it, and like I'm not gonna turn a blind eye to it, because you will get the people, like, he and I talked about this in the interview. Like, you have people that overlook Steamboat Willie because they're upset that he didn't get the tags and whatever.
Mm.
But like, when you get the collectors that come into the app, they want the history. Like, the Disney collectors, they want the history. And to be able to own a poster of something that doesn't exist anymore, that existed when the park first opened, that's historical.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
so, like, couldn't even have told you that those posters existed. Like, I didn't even know about those, like, those rides.
Yeah.
And what's cool about the Rocket one is that Rocket is still in the park. That is in front of, basically, if you were to go to Space Mountain, there's a restaurant and it's Pizza Planet, and they use the Rocket to look like the Rocket from Pizza Planet.
Oh, very cool. That's
So
I actually didn't know that.
they
That's so
repurpose
cool.
yeah, so they repurposed that Rocket, um, from, the time when it was used for the ride. Um,
Oh,
yeah, so that's why I'm like, I'm not gonna be, I'm gonna pay attention. Let's just put it that way. Like, there's a purpose, and I think you are gonna get the collectors. I mean, just thinking, like, less than 2,000 of each one of these is just like crazy. That's
yeah,
crazy to me.
yeah. It's incredibly scarce. Do you feel
It's
that
so
they?
scarce.
Do you feel that they're going to drop the opening day poster? Do you feel like that was a miss there?
So I got tagged in a post where somebody said that they saw, I don't know if they're in this room or not, but they, and I can't remember, I'm sorry, there's been so many tweets, that they saw it in some sort of preview and now they can't find it anywhere. And I'm like, are you, like, thinking to myself, like, are you sure you didn't? Because you had put a tweet out about it, and somebody else had sort of like said, I think we could get this. And I had somebody in Instagram on my messages message me and think that we were getting that. And I said, I would love that, but because it's not an attraction,
Mm.
I don't see that happening. And so, uh, I wasn't surprised that it was on the list. But, David did talk about airdrops. So,
Yeah,
I mean, is it timely that he's talking about airdrops? I don't know. I mean, but how freaking amazing would it be if we got airdrop that poster
That would,
after, you know?
that'd be unreal,
I,
and I feel like that'd be so appropriate for that too. I mean,
I do too.
yeah. I just don't really see a scenario where you can drop that kind of poster at another time, especially if
Hmm.
this is the only 55 to 59 posters that they're going to drop. It just feels like
Yeah,
this is the one to do it with. Yeah,
right. That they're, this drop specified the dates. That especially every mint being 1955. Like, I feel like there's, I mean, again, we're speculating here, but I feel like there's clues that are pointing towards that. I
I
mean,
agree.
I was pumped when he said the whole airdrop thing. I'm like, oh shit, like that's awesome. Like we might get airdrop some stuff. That's really cool.
I don't want to feed the flame anymore, but David, when I did tweet about that, David, you did like that tweet, so I don't I don't
Oh boy.
I don't want to spread the speculation even further. But man, can you imagine what are your thoughts on if that did drop, if it did, what the 1955 mint would be worth for that specific poster?
Oh man.
Right? Is that a borderline? Would you consider that a grail? Like that specific NFT
That NFT tied to that mint number,
for that specific opening day poster for Disneyland? Yeah.
I would. I
Yeah.
would. I
Yeah.
would.
Me too.
Maybe not the whole series. Like I think it should be pretty good, but like, yeah, that's crazy. That's
Yeah.
a one of one, you know.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, man.
Yeah, dude. It's hard to even wrap my mind around that.
So, how do you feel about the drop coming up on Monday yeah, Monday?
So I've seen a couple of people put up the previews. I haven't seen all of them. I kind of want to see all of them, but I haven't had a chance to investigate that. Um, but I mean, I think they're beautiful. Um, the, it's the first time we're going to see any appearance, as far as I know, of a castle
Right.
in any sort of format, and um, they have what, like 20 to 30 seconds worth of music attached to them, which is pretty cool. Um,
That's very
it's
cool.
it's Yeah, it's interesting, and I also think two of them are tied to films, popular films,
Mm.
which I think is really cool. I'd love to know what made them choose those two films of the bunch. It's Frozen, and the other one was what, Encanto,
It
or was it?
was it
No, it's Remember, Coco. It's Coco.
Coco? Yeah, yeah. Nice. Nice.
Um, both popular films, but yeah, I'd love to know, like, that's what I would love to know with all these things is, there was like these big sit downs, and how do they choose, and there's so many options, and I'd love to know like the background of what went into the decision process of what they let out. I would really love to know that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Was was
Yay,
what
he came. I'm so
was
excited.
was was oh nice, yeah. Was one of them I think one of them is actually the Disneyland castle, is that correct?
Well, I'm under the impression that they're all the cat. I haven't looked at them honestly, so I don't misquote me, but I was under the impression that they were all tied to that, to Hong Kong specifically.
Awesome. That's
But
so cool.
why I think why that means a lot to me is Hong Kong is revered, from what I've heard, as one of the most beautiful parks of all the Disney parks. I have not
Wow.
been there myself. I've heard it's incredible. This is also the first drop for Hong Kong Disneyland, and the Asian fan base is insane,
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah.
So, and I forget the mint runs on this.
Yeah.
Uh, I lost you there for a second.
Oh, great.
Are you there still, Sean?
Yeah. Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Ah, shit.
It got glitchy for a second.
Oh, okay. Sorry about
Uh,
that.
yeah, I think you're in a bad spot. Right, again. Before I go on, hi Chad, how are
Hey,
you?
good. How are you? Good to see everybody.
Good. I miss
I
you.
miss you. Congratulations on the massive interview. Oh my God. I'm like one on one with David Yu. Only few people can say that. I think it's just you and Randy. So wow. And actually no, Sean, you did one recently too. So that's pretty solid.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm still, it hasn't sunk in all the way still. But thank you so much for coming through, because I know the whole community really misses you. And I see you have a video that either came out or is coming out very soon. So happy to see you back in action.
Thank you. Yeah, it feels
What's
great
up,
to be
Chad?
back. What's up, man? How are you?
Good, buddy.
I feel so bad for missing you in England, man. I mean, I really wanted it to happen, but it was just such a, crazy amount of events happening simultaneously. So, but it's good to hear your voice, man.
Likewise,
So Chad,
man. Yeah, no
did
worries at
you
all.
go for the
It's
drop?
gonna make that.
Yeah, I did. I saw some people with some really sexy low mints, but I did get I got one of the secret rares, which I was this is my first secret rare actually on a drop, so I was pretty stoked, pretty amazed as well.
I don't want to burst your bubble here, but they were all secret rares.
Well, exactly. That's why I finally got one.
But hey, you got one, and that's awesome because I tried and I hit spot on, and I did not land one, and I even saw 2 rebounds and didn't land either of those.
Oh
So I
wow.
was like, oh, I was in a foul mood this morning. I was so sad,
Yeah, they
but
actually
it is what it is.
they had to create this drop for me purely because they knew that I just had such horrible luck. So it was for my own semantics and so yeah.
That's awesome. And so how do you feel about the posters that came out?
Yeah, I think the thing that for me, you know, was how shocking it was how important they could be. And it's something that I know little to nothing about. And then it just got my mind wandering, thinking, man, how many other shocking things that are coming down the pipeline that are going to be even more important than the things that we already have here that we're not even thinking of yet, And it's just like that would be a Disney fan's dream to have some of these posters, So I was just thinking to myself, like, man, maybe we really haven't even seen, we're not even over the horizon yet of things actually to come and to drop. So that was exciting for me, is just to think about all the future possibilities still.
Yeah, and we were talking about the scarcity of these two, right? Like it's just less than 2,000 of each is crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's so scarce. And right before you came in, we were talking about there was some tweet that had floated around where somebody had seen like the opening day poster, and I thought, oh, well, Sean tweeted it, so maybe it's that one. But they're like, no, like it was put out, like I don't, they saw it tied to VeVe or something. I haven't seen it, so I don't know what they're talking about. But it was that opening day poster, and so we're like, I mean, is there potential there? Like, could that? Because I people speculated that was coming out with the drop, and I said I don't think so because it's not an attraction, and this
Right.
drop specified attractions. But you know, it is 1955 to 59, so we've covered this era supposedly. So I mean, a possible airdrop would be freaking crazy, but amazing. And then Sean was saying, so if you got that 1955 of the 1955 poster, do you consider that a grail? And I'm like, oof, yeah, I do. Like
Oh
that's a
yeah,
101.
I totally agree with you. Like even like the stamps that came out in I forget who it was, but somebody had like the 1776 secret rare stamp, that obviously the inauguration of the United States. And it was just like, wow, like how, like that's another grail that obviously somebody has. And, the 1979 or 1977 secret rare Star Wars comic, like it just keeps going on and on and on. And so I think what is interesting about this is I remember even Alex has said this a few times, it's just that as it continues to grow, people are just going to have to find their fandom and find their corner, because it's almost impossible to really stay on top of everything, especially as the drops continue to, get more elaborate and more frequent. I just think that, eventually there's just going to be different cornerstones in this VeVe verse. And, maybe people like me won't even talk to people on the other side that are in like, Marvel Mighties, or that are in some new kind of vertical that we don't even know about yet. So I think it's interesting now, because, back in the day we had such a small base. I remember to be a whale back in the day, you needed 5 sets. I remember that people were like, "Oh, whale club, you got your 5 sets," and I was like chasing for that. And now it's like, you see people with like 120 plus sets. So it's just amazing. It's amazing seeing the development and also how things are changing and grails are changing.
Yeah, I remember being like pretty proud of myself for having 9 sets when like the most you could get at the time I think was like 22. I'm like, not bad, not too shabby. And
Yeah.
now it's like I don't even know how many sets are now. It's insane, but you're so right. Like you I even find myself having to pick and choose, and I was trying to hold on to like a set number of gems, and even just today, I mean, I don't know what I blew just trying to complete the set. I didn't even look for mint numbers. I'm like, I got to go to work. I'm driving the car. This is dangerous, and I need to complete the set and be done with it. And so like I just the first thing I could get, boom, like bought it, moving on. But yeah, it ate up my gems, and I'm like, oh God, like I just we know that there's going to be more coming out, and like we've said from the beginning, Disney IP is like endless. So there's going to come a point in time where I'm I can't get everything. It's hard.
Yeah, no kidding.
I will say the
Yeah,
cool
it's
thing about these
definitely
posters,
difficult.
though.
Like,
Sorry, Jay, go ahead.
Go ahead, Sean.
I was just going to say the
no,
cool
no,
thing about
you
these
first, buddy.
posters. I was just going to say that I love. I mean, the fact for me, like I always try to focus on the collectibles first, and then MCP afterwards. These posters are so significant, and they have the most MCP points for any collection now to date, which is really really cool. Great perk on top of it.
Yeah, that's a great point. And I think too, like, it's so funny how like I'm noticing on comments because I only had one video since I've been back, but somebody like wrote on the comment section when MCP, and I honestly started crying of laughter because I was like, we've got the MTL now, everything's on IMX. It's pretty much a home run. Like it's a full closed loop. Like all these other things are important, I get it, but they're definitely smaller on the ticket chain. So I think it's just like we're in a good place now, man.
Yeah, I agree. And I liked hearing David, speak about timelines and stuff and reassure people that, they obviously have the priorities. And that's the thing that gets frustrating for me about the community. Not everybody, but is we waited, and we celebrate for about 5 minutes, and it's like, okay, when the next thing? Like, come on, guys, like let's just live through this, enjoy this moment. Like, we know that it's not like they're going to Tahiti for 2 weeks now that that's done. It's like they're still got their nose to the ground and they're working, and like let's be patient. And that was what was great about that interview is he talked about a lot of the things that they have planned, and be patient because it's going to take time, but like they're not sleeping. Like there's so many. I mean, to hear one of you, who was it, Sean? No, it's somebody else, but I don't remember. But to hear, David said that he had a call with the Disney exec, and the guy's like, man, you guys have a lot going on. Like, that's a bullish comment. Like, come on, guys. Like, we don't know everything, and that's okay. Like, but there's a lot going on that we don't know, and that's exciting to
We're,
me.
we're very spoiled. Really though. I mean, we have some of the biggest IP on VeVe, and it's unbelievable. And it's like we keep getting the most amazing things, and it's just like, okay, what else? What else you got? What else is coming? It's crazy to think about. It's crazy to think about because it's already been so many incredible things that have already come on the platform. But man, it's what a ride! And Comic Con coming up, guys, this is going to be unbelievable. I'm so excited for VeVe and Marvel.
Man, I'm honestly so mad because I have a few friends that are all getting married simultaneously, and all this amazing stuff's happening on VeVe. So next weekend, I'm off to my friend's wedding in Jamaica, and I'm just like, fuck, like I'd rather be at
Aw,
Comic
poor
Con, but I can't.
you.
I can't tell him that. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, poor guy's whole life boils down to this moment. I'm like, all right, buddy, sorry, I can't be in Groomsmen anymore. I'll be in Cali, So but I just want to also say too, one thing that I thought was really cool was that VeVe has always put their business first. They've obviously, have supported the community wholeheartedly. But I think one thing that was really interesting is like, let's just say they push MTL faster and then they only got it in certain countries or something, then the product wouldn't be as good at the finish. So like now that it's like coming out, it's like gone through so much testing. It looks incredible, like everything's so seamless. And now it's all here and it works, and with such a massive community, that's so much smarter than to do what other NFT projects have done when it's just rush everything quickly and then they crash and burn or something doesn't work right. So I mean, I think that's a testament to their experience and also to the wisdom of the people working at the top. So you can tell they've been in this quite a while, and then this is just another major product for them. So and it's also important to all the community players in this while these big transitions are happening. So, anyways, I just wanted to kind of say that because I think people forget, that like the business comes first, and without it, it's like kind of when they say like you got to take care of yourself before you take care of somebody else in a relationship. Same kind of thing.
So that's perfectly put. Yeah, I totally agree. Couldn't agree more, and I love it. And yeah, that's kind of what's exciting to me about this drop coming up is, there's still a lot of markets that aren't really online yet with us. And, when you get the major, Chinese and Asian markets in, yeah, like Disney stuff's over. Like the fandom is insane. And that's kind of what excites me about the Hong Kong drop is, I mean, almost every single time I go to Disneyland, I see foreigners. And they are extreme fans. I mean, like almost crying to see Mickey Mouse and like just extreme fandom. And those parks are very, very busy. And so we get the exclusive, rights to the first IP that comes from that park in NFT format. And it's this beautiful artwork with multiple layers to it, I think is really cool. Again, another limited run. So, I'm excited for it for sure. And I love that we're getting parks content. I think that's really cool too.
100%. And recently there was a tweet that I sent out, and NFT Kings is a really, really great Instagram page that posts a lot of really cool content. And he talked about how Shanghai alone is looking to build put $52 billion into their metaverse just in Shanghai. I mean, that's incredible. I mean, that's exciting, guys. That's incredibly bullish in this space. And I would anticipate they'd want Disney and Marvel to be a part of that ride.
Absolutely. So, are you guys planning on participating tomorrow? Are you hoping for secondary, a little bit of both, just out of curiosity?
Anything tied to Disney and Secret Rare, I'm in. I'm definitely going for the drop for sure. No question.
Yeah, I might be able to bag another secret rare. So I'm I'm loving life right now. Yeah.
Wow, can you imagine, Chad, 2 secret rares in a row? Your luck would be like, that'd be amazing luck.
Be the best luck I've ever had, to be honest.
So you're not one of the influencers that gets the super low mints every drop?
You know what's so funny is like I think out of every influencer I've ever met, I think I do the worst on drops, to be honest. Like absolute worst. I think like and don't be wrong, like I've had opportunities where I could have done a lot better. Like for instance, Todd sitting in the store. I think VeVe knew that, and they're like, "You're such an idiot." Like Todd was sitting at retail, and so we're not going to give you any more drops ever again because you should have capitalized on that. You stupid idiot.
You're blacklisted.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, I agree with them. And then I think the other thing too is the Marvel One Comics drop. Is that that was another one. I think I just got a bunch of commons and uncommons and didn't capitalize on that. So I've learned from my mistakes. Let's put it that way.
Okay, well you should be like way better off than me though, because I didn't go for like the first probably like 3 to 5 comics. Didn't go for them because I didn't get it. Like, and
all the grails.
Yeah, that sucked.
Yeah. There's still more to come. I mean, to you guys' point, I mean, I even admit that I overlooked Marvel Comics 1, which still, I mean, looking back at that, like, wow, what was I thinking? But having that realization of how significant that comic is, and because I think the historical side, it's just that comic more having a historical factor and outside of pop culture, kind of like steered me away from it. But like the value that it's brought to from VeVe because of VeVe, the pop culture value it's brought as the first Marvel Comics NFT, it's now combined with that historical factor, right? And just the fact that that book just doesn't exist in physical space, man. It's it's going to translate really well in the digital space. I feel pretty confident about that.
Yeah. And another interesting thing too is I remember they dropped it in August or early September, but I think it was August if I'm not wrong. And a lot of big things dropped in August of last year. So sometimes I wonder, it's like almost appealing to the people that are like the true believers, because most people in August are out on vacation or not really paying attention to digital assets. So it's really kind of, like looking back at that, if it would have been January, I think the sentiment would have been completely different. I think that thing would have like went to the moon right overnight almost.
Wow, that's an interesting point you make for sure. I want to say, hey, Mr. Pags, how's it going? Haven't talked to you in a while.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? How you doing? I apologize. Who's the host? I'm sorry.
VeVe Magics.
Hey, what's going on? I'm sorry. How's everybody going? Listen, I got a question here. You get verified, but you're all in KYC. We're all good to go. Has anyone? You can either come in or raise your hand if you experienced the capability of doing a transfer. Because I remember hearing David say KYC comes in, transfer come back. I don't know if that was a notion mentioned somewhere. I just didn't get it.
As in transfer of collectibles?
Transfer like it used to be, like from, you know.
They haven't re-enabled collectible transfers yet.
Comic or collectibles, or just collectibles?
Altogether, they have not re-enabled that yet. It is going to happen at some point because they want to let people with multiple accounts be able to move all their items to their main account. So it is going to come into play. I don't know if it's going to be like a limited time event or if, down the road we're going to be able to trade and all that kind of stuff. But it's not active right now.
I do remember in the recent AMA with Dan at the Comic Con, they talked about, I think Dan specifically said that they're going to create some type of system where if you have multiple accounts, you'll be able to merge it into one account. But I do know that they've spoken about the transfers being re-enabled after KYC. So, yeah, I mean, probably not too distant future, but we'll see. They'll probably come back.
Oh, hi, Sean. How you doing? I didn't know you were there.
Hey.
I just been DMing you for like 6 days, but that's okay. No, it's okay.
It's been a hell of a week, man.
No problem. This is more important than responding to me. No problem. I know how you are now. You go to England, you make all that money, you got all kinds of things. I know, it's okay. No, I'm your friend still. I'm cool.
You'll always be.
Go answer my DMs, please, because it's kind of important. Thank you.
I got you, buddy. Absolutely.
All right.
Thank you.
Still, yeah, no worries. Thanks for coming up. Feel free to hang out, and we're talking about just the drops that have been coming and the Marvel. I wanted to step into Comic-Con, especially since I've got you up here, Sean. I'd love to hear what you think about next week and what's coming.
Yeah, absolutely.
So go for it.
I was waiting for a follow-up question.
No, he's answering my DM right now because he knows priority. You know what I'm saying? He's learned priority very well.
Yeah, it's a work in progress. Yeah, I mean, I'm really excited. I'm just so excited about it. I mean, we're gonna have 150,000 people at this event, and Marvel is one of the biggest booths. There's gonna be so many great announcements that are coming. A lot of really big speculative announcements tied to Wakanda Forever. I'm pretty confident that we're going to get a trailer dropped on Saturday, which is really exciting because everyone's anticipated to see how it's going to play out. Who's going to be the next Black Panther? There's some very strong speculation on who that's going to be, but no spoilers on my end. But yeah, it's going to be a wild time. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really excited to see the VeVe team out there. Our good friends and sponsor, Elite Comics 11, we're doing a giveaway, and we're going to be giving away a really cool physical comic that we'll be announcing soon, and a low mint Fantastic Four 1 comic.
I want to win so bad. I want to win. I'm so happy for you, and also insanely jealous that you get to go to Comic-Con. So is the whole Comics and Crypto team going, and are you guys driving?
Just me. Spencer's actually out of the country right now. He's in South America.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's living there for the next couple months. So we've been doing
stop bullshitting, bro. You got money now. You lost all your friends. I know. Solo Sean, they call you now.
Yeah, Kevin's so local. Tags, you coming to Comic-Con?
Unfortunately, to San Diego, I won't be there, but I have my tickets ready for Friday and Saturday at New York Comic Con, which is basically the Mecca. Not taking nothing away from the West Coast, but you know where it's at. New York's the spot. But don't get me wrong. There's going to be. I wish there was. I know there's going to be some. This is still a hurdle that we haven't never had. Being with Marvel attached at the hip. In public, hundreds of thousands of people. I mean, it is going to be an event nonetheless, and I just expect you to fulfill the request that I made, that I DM'd you when you're there. FaceTime me every second that you're there. Let me see, and get me a couple more autographs like you did the last time, because that was important. I appreciate that. Other than that, I mean, what's something else? Yeah, just give me some gifts and stuff. You know what you do.
I got to tell the story about the Thanos 13. So we're at LA Comic Con, and Henry sent me his secret rare of Thanos, and I wanted to get it signed by Donnie Cates. And Donnie Cates, when I go up to him to get it signed, he had no idea what was going on. He's like, "You want me to sign your iPad? Like, what's going on right now, dude?" I'm like, let's just say the guy does not understand NFTs, and he's not he's not really excited about them. But,
Yeah, I was actually sitting at. I'm in Las Vegas in the World Series of Poker, bro. And you hit me up with this. It's got to happen now. It's got to happen now. I'm like, I had to step away from the table because you can't text or talk. And I'm like, I'm like, what happened? Stan Lee come back from the dead? What? I don't understand. Like, why is it so urgent? Like, and you're like, bro, it's now or never. Like the crazy. I still got the convo. It's like it was crazy, bro. But when you sent me back that autograph, I'd have to. I mean, ultimately, I'd have to uh, uh, really like that. We'd have to create that particular item would have to be NFT'd on the blockchain as a whole. I guess as a JPEG or something. Um,
yeah,
you know,
it'll be tough to validate that one as because it comes off like an image because it's saved as an image, but in the
yeah,
very near future, I am so excited for digital
yeah.
signatures.
Well, the good thing about it is that it's one of one because it's actual mint number that I own. I'm the owner of it on the blockchain,
Mm,
with respect to that particular mint number. So
yeah,
having the actual autograph, it can't be duplicated from ownership because I actually own the actual real NFT of that item. You know what I'm saying? So
right.
that would show the predating of it, like something like a patent. But
Yeah.
it's just an awesome thing. I don't know if you have the capability of bringing your iPad again, because you might meet some more people. And hey, you know what I just sold? I just had listed the Doctor Doom collectible. I think it was number 49. I had just I had someone bought it actually on the marketplace. Crazy, yeah,
Oh man. Yeah,
yeah.
I'm really excited about the Mighties. I've heard that there's going to be, I don't know, physical statues or physical collectibles. I know they briefly mentioned something about physicals and Mighties and that they're going to
Mm-hmm.
advertise it at the VeVe booth, which makes me really excited about. I mean, that's what they're going to be advertising at the booth. You can imagine, like,
Mm-hmm.
we're, they're really putting a push
You
for
think
these
they're going to
Mighties.
mention the Dragon Ball Z drop that's coming in maybe a month?
I haven't heard anything about that. Is it bags?
Me neither. Hey, have a go, guys. Easter egg,
He's
buddy.
reaching. He's
Easter
reaching.
egg,
I
Easter egg. Gotta
know.
go.
Put me in the
See you.
corner of that one, yeah.
See you, buddy.
Bye, buddy.
That was hilarious. Oh shoot. Oh, so the Mighties. They have like these like huge. I think Alex will be able to come up for a little bit and maybe talk about it because he's really excited. But they have these like huge like Mighties that have to be put together in pieces that they're gonna have. But that makes me really interested in like the roadmap for Mighties, right? Like everybody has always had the speculation of where those little guys could be going, and to see them being promoted so heavily, and especially if these things are massive, like that's sending a message, in my opinion.
100% agree. I am so pumped about it. When I heard they're going to do physical, see, they're life size physical statues. Is that right? Is that what they?
Yeah, but like beyond life size is the impression I got. Like
Oh,
massive,
oh, oh. Okay. So they're really pushing it out there. That's awesome. Okay, let's
right? Like
go.
I mean that unless I'm misquoting, but
Yeah.
I think that's what's going on.
Oh
Alex is
man,
here,
that's
so he can
awesome.
speak about it. Tell us about these mighties we're gonna see.
Yeah. So look, I'm excited about it just because these are going to be the first um, VV collectibles that we've essentially 3D printed in quote unquote life size for display in a booth. Right? We always kind of wanted to do that. I think it was maybe a little early for Decon last year, but these two mighties will travel with us to conventions moving forward as long as they stay intact and unharmed. Uh, but they will be affixed atop the two kind of demo stations with kind of demo podiums, I guess, like where there'll be iPads all around them for people to go and play with the app, play with the AR, see the collectibles, and on top of that will be like a 3 foot Marble Mighty. So we have two printed from a 3D printer fabricator that does a lot of booth work because one of our production guys is from Mondo, so he's as those connections, A, and B, has done those types of things for Mondo booths at cons in the past. So we're really excited about that, and they look pretty fucking cool. I'll be honest with you. And it's mainly just because we're in the Marvel booth. Mighties are you can only get them on VeVe. You can't find Mighties anywhere else. So it's a VeVe property. So we're kind of really just showcasing that. So you'll see them on the the branding of the booth itself, on those life size, and then on the giveaway shirts that we're doing for the Marvel giveaway hours. So we have like little prize packs that we're giving away, that Marvel is giving away on stage during their quote unquote giveaway hour. And if you win one, it's like a shirt with some of the Marvel Mighties on it, and VeVe and Marvel branding. We'll get some VeVe sunglasses that were meant to show up at the Decon kickoff party, but didn't. But I have those to give away, and then like a card with a promo code on it to redeem a collectible. So very, very cool. We're looking to get a lot of eyeballs on the platform that weekend, because obviously, as you know, Comic-Con is massive, A, and B, we're in the Marvel booth, so we're going to expect to see a lot of traffic, and probably a majority of the 100,000 plus that come to Comic-Con anyway will make their way through that Marvel booth at some point over the course of the weekend.
You're giving me such massive FOMO right now. It's not even funny.
Yeah.
It's like, it's painful. It's so painful. So these Mighties, okay, so they're not like giants. I'm like envisioning these.
No, they're like
7
3.
feet
No.
tall
They're like 3. They're like 3 feet. They're like if you would just, that's why I say quote unquote life size, in that they, Mighties are small as it is. So like if you kind of blew that up a little bit, yeah. So I think 3 foot, 2.5, 3 feet is probably what the form factor.
Cute.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Are you allowed to say which ones they are, or you're keeping that a surprise?
I think I have said it. Although I should have probably have kept it a surprise, so people showed up and been like, "Oh shit!" But I think I have said it in space, so I might as well. We have a Thor, for obvious reasons, and Steve Rogers, because of course it's Steve Rogers.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Awesome. Unreal.
FA. Gotta have the FA. There was somebody who, he's not in here now, but there was somebody that was in this room earlier that is a Steve Rogers massive collector. I mean, he has like, I think he's up to like 400 or 500 at this point. So I wish he had heard that comment.
Oh, really?
But I know there's a couple people that talk to him, and they'll relay it because he'll be stoked on that. That's a cool shout out.
What's funny is that when I early days when I was like trying to get my family into and stuff, I've looked back at this stuff that I quote unquote stacked so that I could give away and get people started in the app, like my cousins and my uncles and stuff like that. And I've given away, I think, probably 6 or 7 Steve Rogers and 6 or 7 Marvel comic #1s. And I've looked back and I'm like, God, why? But
that
yeah,
hurts.
but
that hurts.
You're a good Samaritan.
I'm a good cousin, a good nephew, I guess. But yeah. Oh, and I was trying to send you a link to the latest Instagram post, Magic, because it's we had to repost it. Something happened in the export of the Hong Kong Disneyland Momentous series, where
it's the videos.
It's the videos
now,
of them now with the sound, and the aspect ratio was
Okay.
fixed. So you can check those out.
Yeah,
Anybody who
I
wants
try
to
to
see
look-
what they actually look like without having the web previews, you can go listen to the sound and see the full turnarounds of the lenticular effect.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. Yeah, somebody else had posted like one of them. I'm like, how did you get that? Because I like looked everywhere and I couldn't find it. So maybe I was like in that
I
transition
think there's
phase
somewhere
where
on web that you can. There was some way on web you can see it, but
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't gotten a chance. I've seen like 2 of them. So thank you for sharing that. I will definitely take a look. I'm excited for them. Let's see. So anything else you would like to share with us or the group? Oh, you know what? I had a question. Not a question. Are you proud of Mr. Yu? I felt like he did very, very well and was very contained.
Yeah, I've coached him well. He's getting better. He's getting better. Yeah, it's funny because I don't mind saying, but like I jumped on the Zoom call before David came on with Magic, just to kind of say what's up, and then like give David one final warning, uh, not to blow anything. But no. It's he is he's great, and then I think subject matter like that is really what I like to see him on in the interviews with the community members is really just talking about fandom and collecting it, because it's hard. It's so easy to see how super into it and passionate and childlike he is about it. Like it's just really just makes him happy, and when you can see that he brings that passion and that love of just pure collecting and fandom to the app. I mean, I don't think you can really find any better hands to put us in. And those are the type of David interviews that I love, because it makes me excited too, as a working here, but also as somebody who enjoys collecting, not nearly on the level that dude does, but it's definitely inspiring.
Yeah, it was funny when you came on and you're like, all right, make sure you stay on script. I'm like, I will, I promise. You're like, I'm not talking to you. I was like, oh yeah, he better behave, or else I'll never get to do this again.
Well, as it is, he actually did drop a little alpha that we hadn't discussed, and I don't think he really discussed with Disney, but we'll find a way to make it work, I guess. I'll leave it at that.
Oopsie poopsie. Now everyone's gonna go, hey, that's great, you're giving me watch hours. Everybody's gonna go back and watch again. To dig it out. That was my probably one of my favorite things is when I'm in the mode, I'm so focused that I'm not paying attention to him so much. And when I was getting ready to publish it and I was watching it back, I'm like, oh my God, he's so precious. Like he literally was ear to ear smiling the entire time. And it was just like how you cannot watch that. And I loved his advice at the end about he surrounds himself with stuff that he loves, and he wakes up happy every day to be in this environment, and that attributes to his success. And I'm like, God, that's so wise. It's so simple, but so wise.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, I appreciate you helping with that. That was incredible.
Yeah, so great job on the interview, and then also, like I said, it's my favorite type of David. Even when we did, because we had filmed the community update immediately before you filmed your interview, so he was already kind of spun up and happy and talking about Comic-Con and stuff. But just the effort and he that he takes and to put stuff in his background, and change it up every time, and how excited he is about making he makes. There's a bunch of stuff that doesn't make the video that he's just joking about and trying to get a rise out of me. He's told me one time, he's like, Alex, so I have some very important news, and then he'll and I'm like, okay, and then he has this long ass pregnant pause, and then Dan's cracking up, and I'm like, what, David? And then he's like, and then he couldn't finish the joke because it was his delivery is so bad that he couldn't get the joke out. He was trying to tell me that we had been acquired, but I was like, that's not really a funny joke, David. And he's laughing and laughing, and he's okay, look, okay, we'll start again. And so I have to edit that out of the video, and then it's all, he's just a big kid, is really what it is.
Yeah, totally. That shined through in yours, and I felt so bad because in yours where they're showing off their AF-15s, I'm like, oh,
I was like, come on, man, what the hell?
Yeah, because they were gloating a little bit. They were pretty proud of those bad boys, which as they should be. Those are amazing.
Yeah, they definitely also trolling. So that was, you could tell that we're laughing, knowing that people were going to go wild over that. But definitely, I can confirm that it is not a secret drop during Comic-Con. It is not dropping during Comic-Con. So I don't think everybody had it.
I can rest easy. Yeah. Thank you.
I've seen at least 3 videos at this point on YouTube, content creator videos saying, well, this is what they've announced so far, but we pretty much have confirmed that AF-15 is coming during Comic-Con. I'm like, no, it is not. It is not. I've said it. It is not coming during Comic-Con.
But you didn't say it's not coming.
It is not coming during Comic-Con. But yeah, no, it's good stuff. I finally got to pull out a few of my collectibles in the background. So that was fun. And I think there was fair amount of speculation on all of our backgrounds. So we like to keep it fun that way, at least, without getting too hardcore.
And kudos to the videos that you're making, Alex. Like the monthly updates are phenomenal, and like everything's really like succinct now and on point. And like you said, you did a good job of containing David and making sure nothing slips, but it's very professional. So just wanted to say publicly a big kudos to you for kind of taking the ship and kind of making it like a little more on board and in the right direction. So it's
Yeah,
really
I
cool to
appreciate
see.
that, man. And because it's obviously trying to do that while we were kind of working on the Q2 priorities, and they kind of have to take a more serious tone, because people were on edge. People were they wanted that feature, and we knew that it was a big step forward for the company as a whole, and we didn't want to be too jokey on those things, but really just kind of condense the format, share the message, and not have their time is so limited. Those guys, when you say that like we ship this thing and then they don't, we're not going to Tahiti. I heard that earlier, but like those guys, like they don't sleep. Like they actually do not sleep. It's kind of wild. Like I get emails and discords or WhatsApps from them at like all hours, and I'll be like up at first thing in the morning, like 5 o'clock in the morning or something, and David's like still up his time, and I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Like, go to sleep. And I'm like, they just don't sleep, and I guess they're wired. They're just wired that different that way. I just for me, I have to have I'm in bed by 10 and I'm up at 5, and that's just kind of generally how it works. But those guys, like, yeah, they're nonstop. So there's definitely no quote unquote resting on our laurels. There's no, that they're on to the next. And for me, outside of, making sure the messaging is better and on point and kind of streamlined through these community updates and the Twitter spaces, but also the events have been a lot of work, obviously, as you can probably imagine, because we have some big ones this year. Obviously, between the 2 Comic Cons and then the 2 DCons, and then just working towards all of the new features, like the artworks, one of one thing that is coming out. So we need to make sure that we are, educating people who these artists are, what the magnitude of the pieces, and why they should care to bid in these silent auctions. I think it's going to be a huge step forward for us, and to kind of play in the more traditional, quote unquote, traditional NFT space. And we'll see how it goes, because obviously we have a lot of great artists on the platform already, but it's also going to be a way where we can onboard. How do I put this without giving too much away? There are things from the major licensors as well that will be kind of part of this program. I'll leave it at that. So it's not just.
I know where my head went.
Yeah. Whoa.
Yeah. So yeah, it's not just
YouTube video dropping in 5 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure. But yeah, no, it's going to be like it'll become a weekly thing. So in addition to all of the drops, you'll have the weekly artwork, whether that's from an artist or a licensor or something, that it's all kind of silent auction 101. So good stuff. And there'll be varying levels of utility for those pieces. Not all of them, but some of them as well. Like I think David hinted to the first one that's dropping we're saying it's more like a test drop, and just to kind of get people familiar with the process. But the utility on that one is it's pretty epic. Without giving anything away, it's pretty it's pretty fun. It's pretty hilarious. And then the otherwise, like he did mention, like for the first couple of artists that are releasing their one of ones, they come with the physical signed print one of one, which is incredible. So now we're continuing to kind of bridge that gap between the physical and digital collecting worlds. And I think that's it's the possibilities there are endless.
It's so amazing, and it's so exclusive. That's such an exclusive thing to say that you to have a one of one NFT and have the corresponding artwork signed to match it. That's nuts.
Yeah,
that is awesome.
Yep.
And I love to see that you guys are entering like kind of a new vertical is not the right word, but like a new way of working within the app. It's not just, blind box or like there's this auction thing. Like I like that it's giving us a new way to be in the environment, and that you guys are expanding in different ways within the app.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I don't mind calling it a vertical. It is, because we have like the collectibles, the comics, and then we have the artworks. One of ones I would put those separately from any of the art that we have is in collectible format at this point, because it is like going to a gallery and buying something, right? Nobody else can have it. Whereas a collectible is like, there's only so many available. So I think in terms of verticals, I would consider this one. And then, when sports comes, or any other collectible types that I know David's, consistently looking at new ways to bring things into the app. I think this would be a cool addition, and it also give us some like mechanic flexibility in terms of how to purchase and how to sell certain things, right? And so, we've been talking about it for a long time, but Rabbit Grin, right? And that's going to be the first of a VeVe produced physical collectible NFT combo. So that mechanic in the artworks program, the silent auction, is going to probably be used in some of those physical sales as well.
Can I ask a question that I don't know if you have the answer to at the moment, but so these auctions, I mean, we saw the whole crazy thing that happened with the Aston where, was it $1 million? Nobody ever paid for it, blah, blah, blah. So are you going to have to participate? Are you going to have the amount of money that you're bidding in your account, or are you going to have to be able to pay within 12 hours? I mean, because you could get some people that are just bid it up and then they're not going to follow through. Like, have you figured that out yet?
Yeah, I believe so. I'm not 100% because I haven't seen it in action yet. It's still kind of in staging, but it's a silent auction, so you won't be able to see the amount that's bid, so you can't like run it up. But yeah, I believe in order.
Oh, good point.
Yeah,
good point.
In order to bid on something, I believe you have to have the gems to cover the bid. Although I'm not sure that's correct, because I don't think that's correct actually. So I'll find out. I'm sure we're gonna have all that information as part of the marketing cycle when this thing does come out in a few weeks. So just stay tuned for the info.
Yeah, sorry to put you on.
No,
I
should. Yeah, I just actually don't know, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys will have it figured out for sure. Like it'll be a good mechanism. I know you guys are good at.
But I
do
know it is a silent auction, so.
Yeah, which I love. I actually think that's really cool.
Super cool. I mean, Alex, I'm just so pumped about this, especially the digital and physical connecting that together. You know how passionate I am about that. But I actually want to ask, do you have any intention of ever selling like the original artwork that the VeVe covers for the comics? Is that ever a thing that you guys have thought about, or possibly in the future?
You're talking about the VeVe exclusive comic covers?
Exactly. Yeah, like the original artwork.
Oh, possibly.
Because that's a huge market, and that would be really cool to see the original artwork come out like that. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, possibly.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yo, guys, I'm going to take off, but I just want to say thanks so much for having me, and it's been an absolute pleasure, to speak with the three kings on the app, and especially have the big gun here, Alex himself. So lots of fun. Good to catch up with everybody. Sorry for being MIA. It was my honeymoon with my wife and I, and then, when you come back, you kind of go, you're almost like got what do they call it, the travel blues. You're just kind of like, oh, shit, like,
back to real life.
Work? Yeah, exactly. So I've been trying to milk it as much as I can, but I'm back now, so. But yeah, thanks for having me up, and can't wait to kind of do some more talks with everybody. And good luck at Comic-Con. I'm sure it's going to be fantastic, and can't wait to see the drops. And I'm definitely getting that Silver Surfer. I'm ecstatic about that one.
So nice. Good. Yeah, it's good looking. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So cool.
Chad, thank you so much for coming up. I really appreciate it. I know you've been super busy, and it was great speaking with you. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, you too. Thanks so much for the invite. Take care, everybody. So see you guys.
Good to see you, man. See ya.
what's really cool out in Las Vegas, Alex, at Torpedo Comics. It's a really big comic shop. I don't know if you've heard of. They had a recent comic show at a Comic Con. It's called Torpedo Con out in LA. They actually have a full life size scale of, I believe it's the exact same model of the Silver Surfer inside their comic shop. So
Oh,
epic.
really?
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. So like to see the NFT version of it, man, it's I'm such a big Silver Surfer fan. Such a big one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's always cool to see what Marvel releases on VeVe because you kind of like, most of the time it's a breadcrumb to something, making its way into the MCU. So I'm excited to see if that actually pans out. I actually, when any of my meetings with Marvel, I actually make sure that they don't spoil things for me. Like, because I'm a fan. I'd like to find out in real time. Like,
Yeah.
I go see the movies on opening night because I don't want spoilers. They tell me like, oh, we're talking about roadmap, and there's certain things that I just kind of have to plug my ears on because I don't want to know.
I know.
It's fun. It's funny. Yeah, and like my contact kind of loves saying. I was like, hey, did you see such and such yet? Or she goes, yeah, I already know what happens in the next like 2 to 3 things. Like, don't tell me. Like, don't even tell me that you know because like I don't want to know.
That's hilarious, and that's the biggest thing about like investing in comic books. Speculation is a huge part of the process, and man, it's a double-edged sword because I definitely want to talk about it so people be ahead of speculation and find like cool investments to jump into, but at the same time, it's also kind of spoilers too. So like I try to find that balance in between.
Yeah, I was talking about their Hall H presentation. I was like, hey, any chance that you have an extra ticket for that? And I said, I know I probably shouldn't ask because I know those. If you have any passes, they'll go to Dan and David. But just in case you have an extra, let me know. And she goes, oh yeah, I know everything they're going to announce. I go, don't tell me. I'm asking to go to the presentation because I want to be surprised with everybody else. But it's pretty funny. Yeah, that stuff is. I totally got into it after, especially over the course of the pandemic, where like we weren't going out. And so all I was doing was watching speculation videos on YouTube for all of the MCU and like rewatching all of the movies and things like that. And like, at that point, like before the pandemic, like I think Endgame had already been out, right? Yeah. So, and I got my fiance totally hooked on everything too. We watched everything in order like a few years ago. And now we watch all the Disney Plus shows, so I'm like fully entrenched, and I just don't want spoilers.
It's so it's so impressive the breadcrumbs from MCU films.
Oh yeah,
left years ahead. I mean, like even like in Endgame, remember when they talked about the seismic waves happening underneath the Earth crust, and then she's like, well, they're down in the ocean. There's nothing we can do about it, And that was potentially something that's coming, soon.
right.
Very exciting. That's so cool that they were talking about all this like years ago.
Yeah, it's nuts. The pre-planning and just the attention to detail on some of this stuff. Yeah, good stuff.
Are you going to get a chance to like see any of the speakers / events? Like, do you think you'll get a chance to see any of that stuff?
I actually don't think so. I think I'm going to be at the booth the entire time. I mean, it's a big weekend for us to be able to talk to people and answer questions and get people in the app. So I'll be doing pretty much 12 hours of recruiting a day. So I'm going to be beat. I don't think unless I split it up and then take breaks and and try to go to some of the panels or just walk the floor. I really don't think I'm going to be able to do much else other than be in our booth because the staff that we have there, like I have a new staff, so like they're probably a month or two on the job at this point, and so while up to speed, they're still fairly new, right? So I don't want to put them in a situation where maybe somebody has a question and they can't answer it or whatever the case is. So I'll be there for the most part.
Yeah, and it's also like something like this is huge. This is massive. This is not something like you guys have delved that deep into before. I mean, Comic-Con is, especially in San Diego, is like the big kahuna.
Yes,
Randy,
absolutely.
I've already been talking to Randy and how we're going to game plan and cover all the vendors there and spread the good word of VeVe.
Randy's going too?
Yeah, Randy's going too.
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
I know. I'm really pumped to see him. I haven't seen him since DesignerCon last year. Same with you,
Yeah.
Alex. Yeah. Really
Oh,
excited
right.
about
That's
that.
right. Yeah. Just as long as just tell Randy not to run up on me with a live stream.
Okay. I'll pass the message.
You know what sucks too? I thought we were past this, and I'm okay that it is in place, just because better safe than sorry. But you have to wear masks inside, and
Oh
so
no.
I'm gonna be talking all day through a mask, and so I'm
You're
gonna
gonna
have
lose
no
your
voice.
voice.
I'm gonna lose my
Ugh,
voice.
that sucks.
But yeah, I would. Sean, I'm sure you know at this point, but you should definitely have all of your vaccination card ready to go ahead of time, because otherwise you have to go to like a special testing station, get a wristband, and blah blah blah. It's like a whole rigmarole.
Do you
So
need to bring it in person, or do you just take a photo of it and that probably
no,
suffice?
I think you either need to bring it in person, or there's a pass, a digital pass that connects the information from Clear. They have information on the website and how to do it. So it's an easy app. It just the Clear app, and then it just attaches like your digital vaccination ID, whatever, and you can just walk right through with that.
Okay. Thanks for the heads up, Alex. Yeah, I
Yeah,
haven't heard anything about that.
yeah.
That's
I
kind of a
feel
big
like it's
deal.
not being publicized enough. But yeah, I made sure all my team was well aware, because I don't want to deal with oh, well, I can't make it because I have to go to the testing station. No, you handle that shit ahead of time.
It's going to be a real shit show going
It
in.
really is.
I
Yeah,
see it now.
especially it's 2 years worth of people who haven't been able to go to Comic Con coming. It's like the grand coming out party again, reemergence party, I guess. So yeah, I do expect some high traffic in that booth.
I'm
Sure.
glad you said that, because I hadn't heard about the whole having to wear masks. It was actually, I was working today and in the Malibu area, and somebody was saying that for LA they're getting ready to reinstate masks. I'm like, this is literally the first I've heard about it.
Oh, really?
So
Yeah.
yeah,
I
I
mean,
had not
I
heard
kind of
anything
wake
about
up
it.
listening to NPR every day, so I've been hearing about it for the last 3 weeks. But yeah, Los Angeles unfortunately has hit the threshold again where of hospitalizations and reported cases. So this thing isn't going away anytime soon. It's just kind of a bummer. And if you haven't had it, you're going to get it, and if you have had it, you're going to get it again at some point. But it'll just be varying degrees of severity, because hopefully you've been vaccinated or have the antibodies. But I don't want to get too much into that. But it is what it is.
Yeah,
That's a good heads up, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got it again recently. I'm a borderline
Oh, did you
superhero
really?
right now. Yeah. I'm a borderline superhero right now with the antibodies.
Yeah. I think I've had it. I've never tested positive for it, but I do remember I was fairly sick, but I just didn't maybe think that it was, because I got over it in 2 days, and I was already vaccinated. So I was like, oh, maybe I actually did have it. But I don't know. At some point, I'm sure I'll get it again, because I've been to I've been going out. I've been going to concerts. I've been going to football games. I've been going to obviously I'm going to go to Comic Con, so that should be a test. See, apparently somebody had it at the Decon kickoff party. Somebody tested positive after the fact. I didn't get it, and I hope nobody else did. But there was somebody there who tested positive and let me know. So I put out in my messages to make sure everybody was safe and just make sure they tested themselves. But I don't think it was anything widespread.
Hey, I have another question about Comic Con. What are the hours that you're working? Like that the event is open. Like, are the drops going to happen when people are like in the event center
No.
with you? It's prior in the morning.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's standard drop time. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah. We probably, I don't know. We probably should have made it noon, but I think it's just generally the way it works is that our dev and load team is based in the New Zealand-ish time zone, so it's it gets late for them. If the noon
Yeah.
drops, are a little tougher for them to do. So not that we haven't done it plenty of times before, but just to commit to 5 straight days of noon drops would have been asking a lot. So we just kept it at the standard drop time. But this hall doesn't open until 9, I believe. So it's like 9 to 7 each day.
Okay.
Hey
Yeah,
guys,
I was curious.
I apologize. I have to head off. I'm staying outside of a farm, and family's giving me the evil eye.
No worries. I know
But
you had
thanks.
like a big family pack day. I appreciate you taking the time to
Oh,
join.
of course, VeVe Magic. It was a pleasure. Congrats again on the video. It was so amazing, and Alex, super pumped to see you at Comic Con. It's
Yeah,
gonna be a
man,
lot of fun.
it'll be good to see you too.
Awesome, awesome. All right, guys, you have a good time. Talk to you soon.
Take care, friend. What's up, Max?
What's up, guys? How y'all doing?
Hey, what up?
Good.
Chilling. I'm out here walking my dogs, and as y'all are talking about Comic Con, I wanted to ask you, Rev, how? I'm assuming this is where you guys are gonna have the Mighties to kind of like help as a visual aid to what people are gonna be seeing on an app. But to introduce somebody to VeVe kind of requires you to get into like, I guess, their personal space, to go on their phone and okay, this is what you do, this is what you do. How have y'all kind of like made that process faster, or what's going to be y'all's game plan as far as a mass amount of people and trying to like onboard them to an app that requires you to like slow down, download the app, blah blah blah, and all that?
Oh yeah, so there's going to be a much more elegant solution, similar to what we had at Decon Anaheim. It was kind of Decon Anaheim was our first event. It was pretty low rent, to be honest with you. So we had those iPads with the app, like tethered to the podium or whatever. So we'll have a similar thing like that. Will there be the two stations of like 4 iPads each, all pre-set up with a bunch of collectibles in it. Marketplace disabled, of course, and people can go and do hands-on, play with the AR, look at what the app has to offer, and then branding our entire like booth thing where our video wall is, and it's wrapped in different collectibles and things like that, and we'll have QR codes all over the place so they can scan it and then get to the to download the app. And so that's the two of the ways we're really coaching people through what the experience is, and in addition to talking to them, of course, if they have questions. But we have in the video wall itself, we have 2 different videos. One playing in our like booth stand up that is kind of just a loop of an overview of the app, and then during the stage presentations in the Marvel booth, like ahead of giveaway hour and things like that, we have a little more of a how-to video, like what the app actually is, and so people understand what VeVe actually is and why they should download it, and that'll have a QR code on it too. So there's going to be plenty of kind of instructional type, not only videos but us kind of walking people through the iPads on the stations, etc.
That's cool. And I'm curious, will you guys be actually using the word NFT? Because you know how some people get when they hear NFT, like, especially collectors.
We do. We use digital. Most of what we say is digital collectible NFT. NFT to kind of drive the point home. Well, obviously, we're doing the same with 100% carbon neutral, but we have those talking points as well to kind of, if anybody thinks NFT is a sham or whatever, like at least we're part of the Marvel booth. We're not just to stand up in some kind of sea of booths. We are the cosign and the validity that given by the fact that we are part of the Marvel booth should be enough, I think, for a lot of people to kind of look further into it. But if there's always going to be those kind of NFT haters, which is fine.
Yeah.
They don't.
What's up, Emoji?
Hey, what's up? What's up, Alex? How you doing?
Hey,
Hey,
bud,
what's up,
going on,
VeVe
man?
Magic? I'm good. I'm good. I have a question. Max actually made me think of something. So, and it probably doesn't apply to this event, but going forward for other events that you guys are going to be doing, especially like with the KYC requirements to participate in the drops. So, I'm just visualizing when people come, to the booth to check it out. Let's say they're at an event that's like a, weekend event and stuff like that. Would there be some type of way for them to still participate in the drops for that weekend? Because they might not have like their bank statements or anything on them, like especially if they're away or something like that.
Yeah, I think that's a large part of the reason why when we opened public beta on Friday that we are giving the quote unquote grace period of June 30th to get everybody KYC'd. So like if you're going to Comic-Con and you're downloading the app from the QR code, you're not prompted to upload a bank statement, because nobody wants to do that. So you're going to have the time and you're going to be able to participate in all of this month's drops until it becomes mandatory. And then after that, that's just, we'll discuss whether or not if for new users only, there's going to be a grace period, or if the regulatory agencies say that we have to have everybody KYC'd as a matter of onboarding.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll see you guys.
That was a good question. Thanks, Emoji.
No problem.
I actually had a question too. So I got prompted for KYC on my phone. I have an Apple phone, and I did it and went through totally fine. But you said something on the AMA about like if I have iOS, I have to do it on the computer. So do I know? I mean, I couldn't participate until I got it done at the time, but I got it a green light and now I can participate. So did I just hit some sort of window where I was able to do it, but now
you got prompted in the app, or were you on the
I got
web
prompted
platform
I got prompted in the app on my phone.
Huh.
And so now I'm like, oh, did I and I submitted everything and it went through fine, but now I'm like, okay. I was like, maybe
if you want
to
double check that you're verified,
I would love to double
web
check.
on desktop, go to app.vv.me/KYC, and then if you're verified, it should just pop up and say you're VeVe verified.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you. I needed that because I do want to double check because that would suck.
Yeah, the reason why we were telling people to, if you're on iOS, to do it through web is because Apple has not yet accepted the new build, and so it might not be as seamless process.
Gotcha. Cool. That's great. Thank you. While you're still up, hey Village, did you have a question for Alex, or are you just coming to hang?
I'm just coming to hang. I mean, no real questions at the moment. I did KYC today on my phone, but did you get prompted? So did you get the blue bar on your phone, or did you go to the web app and then click continue on phone?
I got blue bar on my phone.
Oh.
It was probably like 2 weeks ago, I want to say.
Yeah, that makes more sense. I think for the public beta, you're not going to be able to get prompted on the phone anymore.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I didn't get prompted on the phone, Alex. I just I did it through the web app, and it was like it allowed me to transfer it over. Dude, that process so seamless. Congratulations to whoever put that through, because I literally scanned the QR on my phone. It brought up the exact page where I entered my information, took a picture of my photo, did the whole Face ID. Yeah, man, that was super simple and easy.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, that's that provider, that verification provider, does work with a lot of the top, not only exchanges. I've actually gone through that same process a couple times with a few other exchanges or things that I need to KYC for, and it's seamless every time. It's really, really good.
Yeah, 100%.
Cool.
Well, thank you for coming up. I don't want to keep you from the rest of your weekend, but I appreciate you sharing some of your time with us.
All good. Just wanted to come up and say hey, everybody, and then also congratulate you again on the awesome video. Good interview. And I'll see you next week. And if you're going to be at Comic-Con, come say hey.
Nice.
All right.
Congrats in advance. Have rest up.
Yeah, I'm trying to do that this weekend for sure. Yeah. Although I did try to go out to some.
I saw that.
Oh, you did see. Yeah, I went out to like this. It was like this tiki pop-up immersive experience.
Like an S show.
It was an absolute waste of effing time. It sucked. They like way oversold it. You couldn't move. It was hot as balls. Sorry, excuse my language. You couldn't get a drink. Like it took us an hour to get in, and it was like only a 2-hour show, and I was like, whatever. So we went in for like 15 minutes and peaced out and had a better time elsewhere.
Good. Well, at least you didn't. Yeah, you moved it to somewhere else and had fun. That's good.
Yeah, You should. Anybody in the LA area should check this thing out. There's a couple of really interesting like experiential things happening in kind of like the downtown arts district at the moment. There was one that happened right before the pandemic, so it didn't survive the pandemic. But there's this new one that is a distillery, if you like, drinking. There's a distillery that is basically their whole thing is like a full guided tasting through the three spirits that they distill there on the premises, but they use very different processes, and it's almost like it's almost theater, and they've like really dressed up the inside like almost like a set design. I think it's almost like Disney caliber the way they've kind of fabricated some of the look and feel of the distillery itself, and then there's like live art happening, and it's really really cool. So it's called The Obscure for anybody who's interested in the LA area to go at a very unique tasting, private, like almost some semi-private experience. Is pretty cool.
Nice. Yeah, it looked cool. I didn't want to blast you, but I saw the pictures and I'm like, oh,
Okay.
that's fun.
Yeah, that was a fun double date.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
I will talk to everybody later.
Sounds good. Thanks for stopping in.
Take care. Bye.
Bye. All right. I will probably shut down pretty soon, but if anybody else wants to come up and chat, this is a totally open floor. If you guys wanted to talk about today's drop or tomorrow's drop or the interview that I had with David Yu, if anybody wants to talk about that at all, feel free. Otherwise, I will probably peace out.
Yeah, it was congratulations on the interview. Fantastic.
Thank you.
I watched it last night. A lot of good information came out of that. Really enjoyed it.
Thanks. So I don't think you were here earlier when Alex was first talking or discussing it a little bit. I might have to mute myself in just a second. But I said, don't you think that David did good? Like he didn't spill any beans. And he said that there was one thing that he said. And I don't know what that is. So
it's probably the Hong Kong, because he was like, wait, which Disney?
No. I don't think it was that. Because the day I aired that, we got the announcement for Hong Kong. Is that what you mean? Like he just said it before it was due?
So that day we got the announcement for the posters, and we got Hong Kong later. So I didn't know. He seemed like he wasn't sure which one we got first. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I agree with that. I don't think that would have been something he would have gotten like in trouble for because he didn't say anything. But to me, the things that kind of stood out was him talking about the future, like talking about utility.
He talked about Yoda, VeVe Magic. That's why I came up. He talked about the lightsaber.
Yes.
He says, wouldn't it be cool if you had Yoda and you had to buy the lightsaber separately? That's where he spilled the beans, I think.
That floor went up.
Did he say that, Sanjay, or did he say, wouldn't it be cool to see Yoda and you would have to have the lightsaber in order to put it in his hand?
That's right. Same thing, man. Like, meaning there's utility for your lightsabers.
Yeah, basically saying like you're going to be able to get more collectibles, and those collectibles will be able to hold their rightful sabers.
I might buy a few more here in a little bit.
Yeah, right.
It dropped some utility bombs, and then also the interoperability Q3, Q4 priority. I thought that was pretty interesting.
Hey, VeVe Magic. Anyway, I just want to say congratulations. I'll step down, but great job with the interview. Thank you for what you do.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. That was I'm still like kind of trying to process it because I don't know that I fully have, but that was an incredible experience. I hope it happens again. I wish it happens again. And
you got the private email, so you can make it happen.
Right. It was funny too because so we talked a little bit afterwards, and we're like nerding out, like nothing exclusive by any means, but we were nerding out, and then I sent him an email and said, "Oh my God, I forgot to tell you about. I found a Steamboat Willie collectible, actually silicone Secure sent it to me, and both he and I pre-ordered it. And I sent the link to Dave, and he's like, "I ordered 3." And I'm like, "Yes, now I can influence you to do things." It was pretty awesome. I mean, he would have bought it regardless, but yeah, no, he saw it and was like, "That's legit. I'm buying 3."
Yeah, I'm surprised he brought those tickets out from the first time he ever went to the park. Oh, wow.
How wild was that? I was
Yeah.
literally stunned. Like, what? Like, how old are those? And like, how do they look that perfect?
Yeah,
And
I'm
like,
surprised he didn't have like some sort of binder or something.
I know. Well, I'm thinking because I said that too to Sean, and he said, "Well, maybe he brought them out of the plastic, like to show them off." I'm like, "Oh, that makes more sense." But yeah, I was surprised.
Yeah, for sure. So, the castle's tomorrow. Are you excited?
I am. I'm containing. Like, I'm mildly excited because of my letdown today. So like, I'm kind of like setting myself up, to
Why?
not be.
Because you didn't get one
I
on
didn't.
the top today.
Yeah, no, I didn't land on the drop.
Yeah.
So I'm setting, and I tap fast too. But it sucks. Oh well. But I'm setting myself up to not, be too overly enthusiastic and set my expectations that I may not get it, and that's okay. But I hope I do. That would be great. I hope I do.
Of course. So, what were you more excited about, the posters or the castles?
Um, that's a really hard question to answer because I like them for very different reasons. Um, Part of me feels like everybody has PTSD from lenticulars. So, um, I feel like that's like, and I haven't been in spaces. I've been too busy to see what the sentiment is. Um, but there is a little bit of PTSD that is still there from that.
Yeah, of
But
course.
it's the first time that we're seeing castles, and it's a huge drop to get the Hong Kong park because that's a massive park and with a massive, massive fan base.
No.
And we're fortunate enough that like that whole market isn't on app yet because it, in my opinion, would be game over if they were already present and able to buy and shop the market. Like, game over. So I see it as a huge opportunity because when those guys come on board, we get, all the Asian population. What do you think they're going to go to first? People in China see that there's something tailored to Hong Kong Disneyland. You don't think that they're going to like gravitate towards that first, Um, assuming, they obviously, if there's other things that come in between time, more the anime and, those things that shall not be named, what you all know about, they'll obviously gravitate to those things first. But if they aren't here, like that's where they're going to go, and it's again another super limited run. And so I think it's pretty cool. I think they're pretty interesting.
Yeah, someone made a good point earlier that for showrooms, like imagine blowing this up, like blowing the lenticular card up and having like the whole castle in the background. That'd be pretty cool.
It'll be stunning for sure. Absolutely stunning.
Now, what's your take on the one we have? They're all mostly like a little over 2,000 edition size. I think one's like 2015, 2005, and then we have one that's 1331. Notice that?
See, and I haven't had time to even look at the edition size and stuff. I literally have not had time to research. So shame on me for that. But yeah, I would like to investigate that more because I'm sure, you obviously saw that with these posters that came out today, the edition size directly correlates to something, right? So
Yeah.
I'm I would feel 99% certain that those edition sizes correlate to something Hong Kong related as well, or
Yeah.
so yeah, I need to look into it. I'd be curious to see.
Yeah, it's so the one daytime one and then the two with the characters. There's one with Elsa and her sister, and then there's one with Coco. And then there's one that's playing by itself with just the fireworks in the background, and that's the edition one size that's the smallest, which is 1331. So I'm curious.
I
I
wonder
think
if it's the address. I wonder if it has anything to do with the address. So like Disneyland, the address is 1313. And so I don't know. Don't quote me on it because I haven't researched it. But I would wonder if maybe they couldn't get 1313, so they just transposed the numbers and got 1331.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to do some research on the numbers, and I'm sure there's correlation there for sure. There has to be.
100%.
Yeah. What's up, emoji? You're back.
Hey, yeah, no, I just wanted to tell you, yeah, I really enjoyed the interview. You did an awesome job, and I always love hearing, fans speak about the things that they're passionate about. So, it's always dope hearing it from you, knowing how much you love Disney. So I appreciate that. Appreciate, the effort that you put into to do that interview.
Thank you. Yeah, I really appreciate it. I think probably like my favorite thing about it is I was worried that I would like come across as like this whole Disney nerd or whatever, and to like see him genuinely as excited, if not more, and be such a huge fan and show just how much he loves it, I think was like probably the most gratifying thing for me. Is that you
Hmm.
just like he was almost childlike in the interview. I mean, I've never seen him smile so much ever on video. And I
Yeah.
feel like that's probably what he would be like, in person hanging out with them. Is that if he's talking about this stuff, he just is joyful because he loves it so much. So I think that was my favorite part, is just to see that it relaxed me for him to
Hmm.
be so just like genuinely happy and love telling me stories and about experiences like that helps relax me and feel like at home, in a sense, like, oh my god, we speak the same language, we understand each other. That was
Hmm.
really cool.
Yeah, and you know what's crazy too, and I think that that's the dope part, especially like being a viewer and looking at it too, because when you see that passion, that you have as a fan, but also David has being the owner, it kind of just makes you more attached to the project, because it's like when you see people passionate about things, it makes you passionate about them, you know. Um, and a lot of people are experiencing these fandoms, maybe for the first time, or just maybe they just didn't look into it as deeply as they are now. So yeah, no, I appreciate every time someone speaks about something that they love. But I wanted to also say too, there was another point that David had mentioned, and I wasn't sure if that was the one that he was spilling the beans on. But when you guys were talking about potential airdrops or the afterlife of the collectibles, so I don't know,
I
but
love
that
those
was something that
words. The
stood out.
words, yeah, the words afterlife or word. I don't know. I guess that's one word. Um, that was, I feel, massive,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I mean, a lot of us have been wanting um, basically confirmation. Like, I don't know that it's ever really been confirmed, and that was like solid confirmation that like that they don't want them to just be like, oh look, you own it, you can take an AR photo with it, yay, done. Like,
Mm,
no, he said, I want these to live on and continue to develop into other things, and I think that's freaking amazing.
yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
No, it is dope and exciting. So I mean, we'll see. But I think,
Yeah.
yeah, I think you got a lot of really good information out from that interview. So I appreciate it. So thank you.
Thanks. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I felt that way too. Like I went in with uh I feel like I was just really wanting to talk more about like the fandom, and I got so much more out of it than I ever imagined. And so I thought that spoke a lot. Like, he gave a lot of good info in that interview that I did not see coming. And some of it, like, so I had showed him, I talked to him about what I wanted to ask him and make sure that these are all things you can speak about if you can. I understand, yada yada yada. And there were a couple times we went slightly off script, and I maybe those were the times that we got some really good nuggets. I mean, it's yeah, it was cool.
Oh, all right. I'm about to dip, but yeah, I just wanted to let you know that.
Thank
But
you.
yeah, we'll talk. All right. Take care.
Sounds good. Thanks for stopping by.
No problem. Anytime.
All right, guys. Anybody else want to come up and chat or have a question or comment or speculation. I see somebody here. I don't know who you are, but let's see how this goes. Hey, Ben.
Hey, Miss VeVe Magic.
How are you?
Better than I deserve. Thank you for asking. Questions. You kind of already grazed it. A couple of
Mhm.
sentences ago. I wanted to ask front forth, anyways. Was there
Sure.
was there any questions that he said you couldn't ask him?
No. I'm trying to remember my initial list. So I actually spoke directly with him first, but then as a courtesy and as the right thing to do, I went to Alex, and so I vetted my questions through Alex, and it was a long list. He's like, "Well, this is a long list," and I said, "I understand, but I did that in thinking half of them would get shot down or whatever. Like I wanted to have more questions than not, and the expectation that I couldn't ask them all." So he just helped me refine the list, but I didn't notice it. There was a couple of questions I was surprised that he was able to answer. So yeah, I don't feel like anything was directly shut down. I was happy with the list. It was just tailored a little bit more, but no, he pretty much answered everything that I wanted to ask and then some.
Okay, I mean, because I know you want to be appreciative of the fact that you had him on,
Mm-hmm.
your YouTube channel, and I definitely watched that interview, and I definitely would have wanted to ask a couple of more questions, like questions that I think that nobody really presses in on that much, like
Mm-hmm.
when land. And
Mm-hmm.
when is Alfred Kahn coming out of the shadows? We don't hear much from him. All different type of course, when Pokemon, when Dragon Ball Z, anime, and stuff like that. But more particularly, things that's like real. When I think they did hint at the very least, or did
Mm-hmm.
they confirm that the VV verse is coming this year?
I don't know the dates. I don't know the time frame, but somebody else might be able to answer that. Feel free to come up. And I do have to check my DMs. I'm sorry. They don't pop up when I'm speaking, so I don't see them. I have to go look for them. Yeah, no, I wanted to certainly, I know there's certain things that they definitely don't. I mean, another big takeaway that I thought was big, which my mindset has always been, is the whole under promise and over deliver. So, we've seen them get into trouble and get flack for not meeting deadlines. So they're not going to come out and tell you, yes, it's coming, or yes, it's coming this date or whatever, because
Yeah.
The conversation and the energy and the tone of the community shifts when that happens.
Yeah.
And it tends to go into the negative route. So I think
Right.
they're
Right.
purposely keeping that, hidden. But I
Yeah.
mean, those of us that have been around long enough, there's been enough hints that, these things are coming. It is just a
Right.
matter of when.
Right.
So yeah, I didn't want to
Right.
go too much into that. And again, I was keeping my conversation more specifically tailored towards Disney as well.
No, that's fair enough,
Yeah.
because I mean, a lot of people are like, I mean, especially before KYC, I mean, the community was very whiny.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I haven't even checked emails for KYC. I really don't give 2 cents, because I'm in it for the long haul, anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so I'm not worried about KYC. Like, I'm in this thing for the long haul. I see, I definitely
Or
see it becoming going real big. But I did nonetheless wanted to, you know, just just I mean, I'm always wondering, okay, what is this land thing going to look like, and of
Right.
course, the universe thing going to look like. Give us some crumb, like give us something, like just a sliver or something.
hey,
Like,
Yeah.
Benny, real
just
quick, just make sure you KYC before July 31st or July 30th, or else you won't be able to participate in drops and be in the market and stuff.
Yeah. That's good. That's good advice. If you haven't, do make sure you do it this month.
Yeah, KYC is available for all. I don't know if you know that, Benny, but
yeah,
anybody can KYC now, so you can just go ahead and start the process. It takes 5 minutes.
Okay, yeah, that's cool. I definitely will before then. But yeah, I'm not too much concerned about it really like that. But yeah, it's just amazing. And I mean, Disney, the fact that I like the fact that you asked him the question about how did he feel when he landed Disney, because that's a question that I had in my mind too. I'm like, how in the hell did you get Disney? Like,
That's
I mean, of
massive.
course
Like,
you got Pokemon in your back pocket, so I mean things get real serious, but you know, yeah, landing Disney still doesn't mean. I mean, just because you have Disney in your back pocket doesn't necessarily mean you'll get Disney. You know, Disney is still Disney.
yeah, and you heard
So that
like
was
it
a
took
really
them
good question.
years, and they got shifted around. It wasn't like it was an easy sell. Like they kind of got moved from one person to the next and had to like kind of. I mean, that's what it sounded like. At least they had to kind of go up the food chain and work hard for it. And so, I mean, yeah, I'm glad. I'm like, I hope you guys went out and got yourself a bottle of Dom. Like, you guys deserve that celebration after that. Especially like it sucks. You can't tell anybody. They just have to like sort of celebrate in private. And,
Yeah, that had
it was
hardest part.
yeah, it was nice for him to be able to finally like enjoy that and be able to speak about that moment a little bit. So I was happy for him.
Yeah, yeah. Just next time you get him, ask him when Alfred Kahn. Bring back Alfred Kahn out the shadows. His interviews are the juiciest. Try to get Alfred Kahn. Get
That'd
Alfred
be
Kahn.
amazing.
Win Alfred Kahn. Win Alfred Kahn.
Yeah, it's like they got him warming up, right? He's warming up and but he's still on the bench. Like he's coming out, and when he does, he's gonna make waves.
I'm telling you, when Alfred Kahn makes those interviews, I see why he stays in the shadows, because his interviews are the juiciest.
I know. They're like, no, we can't let him talk.
All right, that was it.
Cool. Yeah. Thanks for coming up and chatting with us. That was cool. Yeah, it was funny that so I had sent the interview information up to an email to David, and so he had it, and then like literally like 15-20 minutes before the it was supposed to start, it showed like Alex has joined your Zoom meeting, and I'm like, uh-oh. And so when I started it, he popped on first, and he's like, hey, how's it going? And I literally thought he was telling me like, hey, you need to stay on script, don't be trying to throw out any of these wild questions, blah blah. And I was like, I won't, I'm good, and he's like, no, I'm talking to David, I'm not talking to you. I was like, okay, fair enough, because you never know, man. But Dave's gotten better. But I think we were blessed with some pretty good info there. I felt like it was a pretty bullish conversation, and there was a couple of things that I didn't see coming that I thought were awesome.
How about the interoperability? That's really one of their next
Yep.
priorities. He
Yep.
said Q3, Q4. I mean, obviously, I'm not holding them to it, but just the fact that there's that discussion,
Exactly.
all more better.
Yeah, and I didn't want to drill and like ask for more details, but
yeah, I could totally tell that you're just trying to stick to the business.
Yeah, I want to be respectful. Like if he's giving us stuff outside of my questions and whatever, like consider yourself blessed. Like I'm not going to then probe him. I'm not going to probe him further outside of that, because I'm like, holy crap, he gave me something I didn't see coming. Just take it. Be blessed.
Yeah, of
Thank
course,
you, sir. Yeah.
It's gonna come back. It's gonna come back to you in full circle. Being able.
I love karma. Karma's the best, right?
Exactly.
Fully believe in it. Yeah, I thank you to everybody who listened in. Oh, I am gonna check. You can help me, Village, because I do want to check my messages and make sure that I can. Sorry, some of these are delayed. I want to make sure that I respond to them. Do we know if the 101 NFT drops are going to go off app, like under OpenSea? If so, I'm definitely interested. I mean, that speaks to interoperability, right? So
yeah, but they said what the 101s are going to be on app. It's going to be a 4-day. It's going to be a 4-day auction.
No, but I mean, like once you own it, can you then?
Sure. Yep.
You know. Well, that's how I'm taking the question, at least. I mean, obviously, yes, the auction will be on app, but I think once you own it, will you be? I feel like, I mean, it again is going to deal with licensors and stuff, but the fact that he mentioned the word interoperability, and we're speaking about Disney, that would be like one of the biggest licensors I would think that would push back on it. Right.
The only
So for him
connection, the only connection really is, I mean, we're on IMX. IMX is on the Ethereum blockchain, so you could see it be floated around the Ethereum blockchain as far as interoperability goes. But
right.
yeah, it definitely, artists are going to be the first to come, and then possibly the larger IPs after.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know necessarily that these one of one things will go to OpenSea, but yeah, I definitely personally, based off of what I'm hearing, think that they could they'll be interoperable. Partners utility. Did David mention anything about it? So he didn't speak specifically to partners utility. He did talk about utility. So it's anybody's guess. I mean, I don't know if they're working with Disney on utility on multiple things. I don't know if it's based on sets. Like, again, I didn't want to probe. I was like, oh, bless you, sir, for giving me this knowledge. Like you saying that it makes me more than happy. And I didn't want to, you got to be careful in these things. Like if you drill too deep, then they're like, okay, you push the limit by, and I wanted to be very respectful, but so it's anybody's guess as to what we will see utility from. It could be owning one Disney NFT. It could be, Ursula, gets you some sort of level of something. Then there could be a whole range, owning the set, owning multiple sets, having, 3 out of 12 sets, having the golden moment set, having the partner statue. I don't know, like I again, like I don't have any insider information at all, but I was super, super thrilled to hear him speak about, airdrops, utility, all that kind of stuff. So it's anybody's guess, but pumped, very pumped.
Damn, I'm back and watch find that little nugget Alex is talking about.
I know, right? Is the Steamboat Willie you mentioned from BigBadToyStore.com? It is. I pre-ordered it, and it's supposed to come like March of. Oh, sorry, somebody else. March of next year. Can you ask if a child account has gems will be transferred? Yes. I heard if you have multiple accounts, and so like my son has an account and he has collectibles. I don't believe he has any gems. I think I've transferred them before that shutdown happened. But they said you'll be able to merge accounts with gems and collectibles. I remember hearing Dan say that specifically. So, I think let's see. What else? And then AMG said 1331 is Palindrome. What's up? Are you still in here, AMG? If you are, hey.
In here. He's in here.
What is up? Yeah, it could just be that it's a palindrome thing, which for all you palindrome lovers, that would be massive. That would be really massive if they basically supported this whole palindrome movement, which all for it,
Yeah.
But that'd be cool because 1313s, they're like, oh, we gotta have more than that. Not too much more, but a little bit more. Okay, everyone loves palindrome, so let's do a palindrome of it. That'd be pretty cool. That would give life to that, right? For sure.
Yeah, for sure. It's that specific edition size is like 700 mints less than any other ones in the set. So,
well, and just in general, that's really, really limited. I mean, it's like that's close to secret rare Spidey range. Like that's a real limited amount for sure.
It's funny because that's the one I like the most.
So let me go into the app. Which one is that?
It's the one with the fireworks, but without the characters in the front.
Amazing Nighttime Spectacular, or Time of Amazing. Yeah, it is pretty. It's really pretty. And that one I think is one of the ones that I heard with music. It's almost got like the Bellagio, water show in the front. I think that was one of the ones that I heard with music, and the music was very pretty, and it sounded like firework music that I'm used to hearing. Like it sounded very much on theme, on par.
On the web app right now, or are you on your phone?
I'm on my phone at the moment, but I know I can go. I don't want to I feel distracted if I go look at it right now. I know I can go to Instagram and I can see the videos and I can hear the videos, but I don't want to have the interference. But Alex let me know that they'd made an Instagram post with the videos so you can see.
I didn't even know that. I didn't even know they had the video to it. Okay.
Yeah, because somebody had posted earlier. I'm like, where did they find that? You can do it on the web or on Instagram if you go to the post, and they posted it fairly recently. All right. Well, I have been on for a couple hours, and I think I'm gonna enjoy the rest of my weekend. So I'm gonna sign off. But thank you everyone for coming. Feel free to reach out in messages or whatever, and I'd love to hold more spaces fairly frequently. It's hard timing wise, but I'm happy to know that you guys enjoyed the conversation with David and that it was productive for a lot of you, and obviously it meant the world to me. And again, I appreciate everybody's support and encouragement and kindness. And my goal is just to keep speaking about my passion and spreading the word and getting more users, and that's it. Pure intentions only, I promise. But I appreciate everybody's support.
Thank you, VeVe Magic. You're a gem to this community.
Thank you.
Enjoy your weekend.
All right, you as well. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Good luck this week on the drops. Good luck tomorrow. And with all of the Comic-Con drops, I hope we all get badass mints. And good luck, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. Take care.
Later.